He was the towhead boy with a gap between his front teeth, skinny-limbed but wiry strong, and she'd known him all her life, in the way of knowing everyone in a small town, but he first impressed her the year they both were 7, at the outer edges of the 4th of July picnic that followed the church service. Each year one or another of the town fathers, including her own twice, read aloud the Declaration of Independence, with the minister leading prayer and the choir singing patriotic songs. The town soprano, an aging widow who favored elaborate hats to counter her rusty black skirts and ancient green sweater even on the hottest days, a homely woman who with age gained a reserved and sublime beauty, stood alone and without accompaniment, a frustration the organist, a woman of her own generation, suffered by folding her hands over her lap and watching the performance with cool and precise admiration that fooled no one in attendance, sang the national anthem with delicate vibrato and hidden but real pride in sustaining easily those difficult high notes, the song ending as a silence fell upon those gathered with no few moist eyes. A silence held long enough so the pigeons in the steeple could be heard by those below before the appointed boy tolled the bell 14 times, one each, for the original colonies to become states in the new Union, and the final time for the little republic that became the 14th state, in which they all resided. The bell also the signal for the picnic and other festivities to begin. She was in the shade of the elms along the North Common, away from the hubbub to cool off from the heat within the church, as well as the swelling emotion she'd felt this year, a turmoil she didn't fully comprehend but resided within her as a timorous bird's nest gathered in her breast, wanting only to step away, to take a moment, when a firecracker went off right behind her. She jumped and gasped, then turned, furious at the intrusion, and saw Oliver Snow dashing away among the trunks of the other elms. Glancing back once to witness the aftermath of his effort, grinning at her scowl. After that, best she could, she paid him no mind. After that, she saw him everywhere she turned. He was the boy who would not be ignored. In the 5th grade he bested her in a spelling bee, after she stumbled over incongruous, and he prevailed with prognosticator. He was an unlikely victor, a casual scholar, although even then he was known to be a reader. As was she. They'd run into each other at the town library. In his glory, he was oddly adult, stepping across to where she stood holding back tears and gravely shook her hand and congratulated her, as if she and not he had been the winner. The prize, a certificate for a banana split, at his own father's mercantile, which housed a soda fountain, as well as the town's telephone service switchboard. He offered to share the reward with her, and she demurred. It would be 2 years before she realized he was offering her an early attempt at a date. He only tossed up his head and grinned, his hair flipping away from his forehead, hair now the pale yellow of fall birch leaves. In the summer before 7th grade, he walked up to her in the library one warm afternoon, flies droning against the windows, the place empty but for the 2 of them, and the librarian who was shelving books, and asked her if she'd care to go to the picture show that Saturday night, when the stage and the painted mural backdrop at the town hall was replaced with a hand-stretched canvas screen to hold the movies stitched through the projector by Doc Durgan, who had a feel for such devices, was in fact responsible for bringing this possibility about to save the residents the drive over the 3 long ridges and valleys to the playhouse in Randolph. Again, she'd said no. She went anyway with a pair of girlfriends, as she most always did, and saw him at intermission as she bought a paper sack of popcorn, the brown paper translucent with loops and whirls of butter. He grinned and lifted a finger to his dipped brow, a salute, a greeting, but the smile also asking the question of why not with him after.